Yo, welcome back to my podcast. Okay, that was the most unhinged intro episode ever. But the reason why this episode doesn't have a proper intro is because if you watch the episode that should be published by now, the Q&A part 1, then I already did my intro in there and I don't want to repeat it. So enjoy 30 seconds of Siri being unhinged, aka what goes on in Siri's podcast when the camera is not rolling or whatever I edit out. So hello everyone. So glad I don't have to edit this like crazy part out, because I mean if you guys want to see me being a dork or like a weirdo, then like let me know and I'll include that. But a lot of you guys, I try and like maintain a professional front. So but anyways, welcome back to part 2 of this Q&A. So as you guys know, I have the questions queued up on my phone, and let's get rolling, I guess. So let's continue the Q&A. Oh my god. I already told you in the last episode I cannot speak well right now. I'm a mess. But anyways, so now we're going to move on to some opinion questions for this segment, and we also have a bunch of like serious opinion questions or like serious belief questions. I don't know, man, but anyways, I just want to start answering your guys' questions because I'm so grateful that you guys gave me these. They're all wonderful questions, and I do have my favorites based on what I personally like talking about, but all of these are like gold to me. So, our first opinion question is, if you could go on an all expenses paid excursion, would you explore space or the deep sea? So, as much as I do want to give my explanation, first of all, I'm going to wait. As much as I do want to give my explanation, first of all, I want to say deep space just because I'm wearing, I don't know if y'all can see it, but I'm wearing a NASA hoodie that has an astronaut on it, and it's pretty. I like it, and it says like National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So like NASA sponsor me, you guys. So first of all, deep space for the sake of my outfit, you guys. But honestly, I love the deep sea because it's so pretty, and I love swimming even though I'm terrible at it, and I can only swim in like I can only swim in like 5 feet pools because I'm under 5'1", but I'm over 5'0". I'm like 5.5, 5.05. I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm 5.5, you guys. But anyways, even though I'm terrible at swimming, I love the ocean, or I love water and swimming. I absolutely like it is one of my biggest hobbies, and surprisingly, I don't go swimming in the summer. I just do it when I go on vacation or when I'm by a pool. And yeah, that is quite weird, swim in winter. But anyways, I also do love deep space because honestly, I find like stars and astrology, astronomy, all these cool things that NASA does. Like, shout out to NASA and my hoodie. But I find all these things really cool. But I am going to have to go with deep sea because it would be cool to know if we could. Because, I mean, obviously, as much as I love, like, giving funding to both things, like, I think that we should explore outer space. Like, no, is there any hope for us to move to a new planet because Earth is getting terrible with, like, pollution? And yes, I will cover this in a separate episode. Don't worry, you guys. You know that your girl Siri is thorough. That's what the T in Siri Talks Back stands for, thorough. So as much as I do encourage like exploring space because climate change, overpopulation, we need a new solution. I would also love to check out the deep sea to see if there's like any like way for us to like somehow like use water, I guess, or like live underwater. Honestly, any way just to like use up all of Earth before we move on to conquer and ruin another planet with our terrible human hobbies. So, deep sea for now, and if that doesn't work out, then deep space. All right, next question. All right, so I didn't really want to do huge debates, but honestly, if you guys would want to debate with me, please let me know. I would love to do that. But our next question is, what is the ultimate movie theater snack? All right, so here's the thing. I'm sort of a deal breaker because I have never really had snacks at the movie theater. Okay, the most recent movie I watched was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. 10 out of 10 recommend. Marvel sponsor me. It would actually be so cool if there was like a Siri Talks Back or like a Siri themed superhero with like a mic instead of, or like a mic that morphs out into like a weapon or like some Indian utensil to hit people with. That would be honestly so cool. So first of all, guys, let's start a petition. Marvel should sponsor my podcast and create a superhero named anything similar to my name or any Indian name. It would be so cool if we could do that. So first of all, anticipating that collab. And also, so I watched that movie, and then it was me, my brother, and one of the other interns at the studio. So he got us all popcorn. He was really nice and gave us some. So popcorn's nice, and I did have like a little bit. I just gave the rest to my brother. But if I'm being honest, I personally love stuff. I love like really healthy snacks, like this trail mix I make. But more than anything, I'm starting to. Okay, I've always loved dried apricots ever since 7th grade. But I'm starting to like have this like mini recipe where I'll like crush up nuts and like healthy things and stuff them in dates. And oh my god, it is so amazing. 10 out of 10. I will make it for you guys and give it to you someday, I promise. But those are amazing, and I would love to eat those during a movie. So honestly, I think it just depends on who you are. But for me, stuffed dates with nuts. But honestly, chocolate, I would love to have that in a movie theater. Because, like, you want an ideal snack. So to settle it once and for all, I'm just going to say chocolate for everyone. Because, you know, sweet tooth over spicy tooth personally. But anyways, next question. Also, can we get a movie version of Siri Talks Back? Wait, why am I asking y'all when I can decide that myself? Alright, guys, I'm gonna announce that someday we shall make a Siri Talks Back themed movie about how I rose to fame if I ever do. But, anyways, next question. What's your opinion on your current school right now? Okay, I definitely really like this question because it's like a little bit of tea. So, my current school right now, I go to it because it's the local school, and honestly, it has amazing curriculum. It's an IB school, which is International Baccalaureate, so we're like taught to be more open-minded and stuff. We have like thinker traits. Honestly, it's nothing different from a regular school. It's just that we have certain criteria when we're graded. So first of all, I really like the IB curriculum and like the IB system. I think it's really cool, and how it also matches up my podcast in a multitude of ways, because it's like, oh, we're trying to be open-minded, accepting to all these races and cultures and ethnicities and nationalities and languages and da 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 da. And that's exactly what my podcast does. And it like also raises awareness. I hope it's supposed to be effective awareness and effective marketing. So IB and Siri Talks Back go hand in hand. So first of all, I love the curriculum, and I really like the teachers, honestly. But the students, aside from my friends, are not it, you guys. My school is really ghetto, but I still love the curriculum and the teachers. It has helped me in so many ways, and I've honestly learned a lot that helps me with my podcast directly and somehow correlates with it. And all of these questions, I will probably make like separate episodes about, or like combine them with other questions. That would be really cool, like a compilation. But anyways, next question. All right, once and for all, to settle the debate, is it called soccer or football? So this person is referring to, so Americans call it soccer, and I think like Australians, but everyone else in the world calls it football, whether it's in their native language or whether they say football in English. All right, listen, it is football. Like, yeah. So what we call soccer is football. I don't know why we call it soccer. Like soccer, seriously, I I get that you wear socks when you do soccer, but like that is not accurate. Football, you use your foot to kick the ball. There's like basketball, you have a basket, you shoot it in the ball. Baseball, you got bases and a ball. What other sports are there? Well, I mean, there's other sport like racquetball. You have a racket, you hit the ball. There's a bunch of like other sports that end with ball, and they're all related to it. So why do we call football the thing, like American football? Why do we call it that when we're throwing it with their hand? And soccer, we don't call it football. This is like so contradictory. I don't know who named this, but y'all messed up. And if it's like a mistranslation gone wrong, then shame on you, you guys. Be accurate. So in conclusion, it is called football, not soccer. I don't know why Americans chose that name. Even in Telugu, my native language, I think it would probably be football. I don't know, man. But to conclude, football is the proper term, and Siri Talks Back is the proper answer for the best podcast, you guys. But anyways, next question. What is the worst color? Okay, so first of all, I just want to say that I think the worst color usually should be the opposite of your favorite color, because logically that makes sense. Like if bright yellow is your favorite color, wait, no, it's let me think of, okay, if bright red is your favorite color absolutely in the whole world, then maybe like a really dull red might be your least, wait, no, I said bright red, right? Then maybe really dull blue might be your least favorite color, because they're like opposites. But personally, so for reference, my favorite color is like turquoise. But oh my god, I'm really starting to love pastels. Like all the colors on this hoodie, like all these colors on my sleeve in pastel. Honestly, pastels for life, you guys. But and pastels start with P. Podcast starts with P. Pumpkin pie and pecan pie starts with P. Everything starts with P. They're all amazing. But anyways, I would say my least favorite color is like a really like dull, swampy, murky, sort of like poopy shades of like yellow, like green. If it's like a really dark spinach color, because there's a dish called palak paneer. I don't really like the color of it, especially if it's like more on the yellowish, ewish spectrum. Honestly, anything that's like really dull and dark and like the yellows to greens to brown or orange, I guess, like spectrum that kind of looks like poop. That is my absolute least favorite color. But anyways, next question. So this person has literally asked me, "Hey, did you answer this question? Because you keep saying you're gonna film and you never have." And I'm like, "Hey, I got scheduling conflicts." Okay, but our next question is boba or churros. So personally, my entire life, I've always been a food over drink person because water for the win, you guys. First of all, water starts with a W. If you drink water, all you get is W's, you guys. So I never like really grew up drinking a lot of drinks. So for me, it's always been food, and I have a really sweet tooth, and I also haven't tried boba. So all of these factors make me think that churros are the best. And also, there are a lot of different like versatile types of churros. Like there's a traditional, authentic. I'm pretty sure it's Mexican churro, and then there's like the one with like cinnamon sugar, I believe. Then there's like a bunch of like Americanized and somewhat like whitewashed and messed up flavors like cookies and cream. I think I've heard of like a cheesecake churro. I don't know. There's like strawberry swirl churro, all these different types. So churros for the win, you guys, because Siri starts with sweet. No, Siri starts with S, and my real name Srinika starts with S, and churros have the letter S in them, and sweet starts with S. All these S's are perfection, and they are superb. Yeah. I don't really recommend puns on this podcast. But anyways, next question. Tea or coffee? So as I said, I'm not really. Wait, actually, I did answer this in part one. I talked about when someone asked me, "Do you drink coffee?" I said I prefer tea. But yeah, I'm gonna go with tea just because I know it's probably like healthier for me, I guess, because I don't really drink a lot of caffeine. I don't even drink sodas. I haven't had one in like 1 or 2 years. But personally, tea, because I've had this like raspberry lemon tea, I think, from Panera. It is so good. It's like strawberries. And also, I really want to try like green tea and classic Indian chai. And for the record, it is not chai tea or chai tea latte, because first of all, chai is just a type of tea, and chai literally means tea. So you're saying chai tea is equal to tea tea, and like, but, where is the logic here, you guys? Like, I've said that I'm not the best at English, and even I know this in honors English. So first of all, stop saying chai, and don't order the chai tea latte because it is a whitewashed ripoff. You guys, come to my house for chai. I will make you some. But anyways, next question: cats or dogs? So growing up, my parents never really liked encouraged having animals in the house, like raising them. They would let me pet them, but we didn't really want animals in the house. So I would say nothing humans. I was tempted to say bunnies because I really love how cute bunnies are, and I used to like get called one as a kid, or like and I used to like think of myself as a bunny too because I'm like cute with chubby cheeks and I don't have like giant ears that stick up. But you know, rabbits and bunnies are cute, but the thing is they poop a lot and reproduce really quickly. So I'm gonna have to go for humans on this one. And if you want me to be specific, series, you guys, those are the best breeds of people. But anyways, next question: snow or beach? I'm gonna have to go with beach for this one because I love the warmth, the like beautiful, the view. I do love the ocean, even though I'm scared of whatever, not sharks, but like crabs or whatever animals live there. I'm kind of scared of them, and I don't swim in it. And sometimes, as a kid, the sand used to be quite uncomfortable for me, especially because it was rough. But beach is for the win, you guys, personally. But also snow, I understand. I'm just not that type of person. But anyways, next question. So this is our final like non-serious opinion question. So the question is, what's your opinion on Thai food? So here's the thing. Okay, also, is it Thai or Thai? Because I've heard a lot of people say Thai, but I grew up hearing it as Thai, like the instead of ta. So yeah, please correct me on that. But here's the thing. I've tried like Thai fried rice, pad thai. I don't know if it's pronounced pad thai in like actual the Thai language, but I've tried that type of Thai food and like Thai green curry, this that, but I've never tried like actual like authentic Thai food because I don't know if like Thai fried rice, pad or pad Thai or the Thai green curry is actual like authentic Thai food because for example in Indian cuisine a lot of like non-Indian people eat like specific foods thinking that they're super Indian when they're not really. So I don't know if it's like super authentic Thai food, but I've had it and it is amazing. So first of all, the local Thai restaurants, please sponsor me. Will be a match made in heaven because I love food and I'll like do a mukbang someday. I don't know, man. But first of all, Thai food is amazing, and also since Thai food is so amazing and my podcast is amazing, if we are together and like combined and a Thai restaurant sponsors me, I guess, then it'll be amazing. But next question. So now we're gonna move on to like serious opinion questions, which I definitely really want to get into. All right, so this is a kind of long question, so I'm gonna have to read it. So someone was saying that sometimes bullying is needed for a person to change who they are and is therefore justified, while another person argued that bullying is bad since it's the weird, mentally unstable kids that are targeted who have the biggest violent reactions. What's your opinion on this? Okay, so do you mean my opinion on whether I agree with what the people you mentioned said or in general on bullying? So I need that specification, but I'm just going to answer this how like I would if I asked this. I think that bullying isn't exactly a good thing, which is pretty obvious, but it's not the worst thing okay, no, I want to rephrase what I'm saying. So a lot of times as one of the people who you mentioned said bullying can help someone and like like actually help them like develop boundaries and like learn a lot of different things. So I'd say bullying can be helpful in the long run for a lot of people, but it's not something I would encourage. So honestly, it just depends on the person and their case and also their mindset because that really like changes and like that really changes the way you react to bullying, and the way that you do react to bullying also depends on your entire mindset. So that is what I have to say on that. So next question. Wait, next a question. Next opinion question. Maybe I should do like a frowny face for serious questions. Anyways, next question, you guys. Do you believe the world would be a better or worse place if we all could travel freely? Okay, so my take on this, and I'm pretty sure, okay, I almost know for a fact that there is a theory based on what I'm about to say, or like I'm just rephrasing a theory, but I forgot the name of it. Like, I think I know what it might be, but I don't want to spread false information. And I don't have the time to look up on Google. Yo, Google, what is this theory? So I'm just going to go ahead and say what I have to say. I have this theory where even if some limits or boundaries are taken away from humanity, since we're so used to them and have morals and like have specific principles, we won't break them. Like, for example, also this depends on your definition of traveling freely. But for example, if by traveling freely you mean like there's no like checking, like no TSA scans, or like you can carry like whatever food you want with you, or like in general, like for example, one time one of my teachers told me that 9/11 happened, or like the reason why they now check your shoes at the airport is because during 9/11 someone stored bombs in their shoes. So if you mean like no restrictions or security checks, it's free. Okay, there would definitely be a lot of bad in the world, I will admit, but not like a huge margin. Okay, a fairly big one, but not the biggest margin of like hatred and violence in the world. Honestly, now that I'm thinking of it, 9/11 could repeat, and I really don't want that to happen. But I feel like since we're so used to doing this, doing that, and like having morals like, yo, don't be a terrorist, or like, don't carry weapons, like assault people with them or hijack planes, we kind of just know not to do that. So we're just not going to do it. And the same way that a lot more bad would happen, I think a lot more good would happen. Like people would be able to sneak food into their luggage to give to others, and I think that would be amazing because we could also share food from each cultures without from each of our cultures without having to directly travel to the spot where we get the food from. Like for example, I could give my friend actual sweets straight away from India instead of having to take them to India and feed them the sweets and then push them back away. So yeah, that is my take on this. But as And I don't know if I said this earlier, but please let me know your like takes or ideas in the comments or like replies, because like I said, I post my podcast on 2 different platforms. But please let me know what you guys think, and also like rate my responses, I guess, like how much you agree, disagree. I'd love to know all this, and I will tell you this at the end of the episode so you remember. But anyways, next question. What are the similarities between a guy and a girl? So in parentheses, what is expected of them, how they are treated slash treat others, etc. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say I'm pretty sure that this question was directed for like a lot of homophobic people, and also like people who like, especially in the early 2000s when homophobia and transphobia, mostly transphobia, or in for the sake of this question about 2 genders, transphobia was heavily apparent. So I would say there's nothing that works like this now. Like a guy and a girl, your gender is just what you identify as. So regardless of like how you feel, or like your regardless of how you feel or what your personality is, you can say that you're the other gender if you identify that way, and then you just are the other gender. Like there's not exactly any differences. It just depends on the person, is my belief. But I don't know about what testosterone or like what testosterone does to your hormones and whether that like makes you change or not. But I would definitely love to do a lot more research about this, so let me know your take. But all I want to say is no homophobia or transphobia in the comments or replies. I don't want to see any of that BS, and it's a terrible thing, and y'all know my podcast about like spreading love and awareness, so don't work against the purpose of my podcast. But anyways, next question. What's your opinion on the war with Russia and Ukraine? All right, honestly, all I want to say is that first of all, I hate war, but I understand that sometimes it can be necessary for like social reform and like equality and like justice, all this, all that, all those like happy terms, I guess. But honestly, it would be really amazing if we could, cuz I'm pretty sure the war is still ongoing. It's just like a bit like the media stopped covering it as much. Like we don't care about it as much now because it's been a while. And I honestly don't remember how long it's been going on for. I think maybe a year. It may have started when I was in 7th grade last year, like mid 7th grade. I'm like mid 8th grade now. So, first of all, I hate the fact that there's an actual war, and I'm not really sure about like the causes. All I know is that Russia started like firing at Ukraine because it was like trying to be independent. I'm not 100% sure, but and the reason why, like, first of all of these questions I got are really recent, like just like from the past like week or so. And I know you're like, Siri, you had a week, why didn't you do research? Hey man, I'm a 13-year-old with her own podcast. I have a lot of things to do, and I know that's not an excuse, but just saying, like, be a little understanding. But also, the reason why I also didn't like try and postpone this episode is because first of all, it's been 2 to 4 months, man. I really just wanted film. And second of all, I also wanted to give you the insight of a 13-year-old who just knows what she knows from American media, so that you guys can kind of see, okay, is the media twisting her beliefs or doing this or doing that? And you can also, I guess, see how gullible I am a little bit. But from what I know, Russia is, I don't know if it's in the wrong or if like it's in the right, but Ukraine is like also in the right, but they have 2 different rights. I don't know, man. But all I want to say is just don't hate on Russian people or Ukrainian people. Like, I get if you hate on like one of the presidents or like a big political figure, but don't hate on Russian or Ukrainian people. They're literally just people trying to live in their country in peace, man. And unfortunately, that peace has been broken. But yeah, don't hate on them. Like, I have a lot of Russian and Ukrainian friends, and they're all super sweet. So please don't stereotype them. Anyways, next question. What's your opinion on the consumer nature of the world? All right, I don't have a full like essay or paragraph or anything prepared for this, but all I'm going to say is that the consumer nature of the world isn't the worst, absolute worst, but it's honestly not the greatest. So first of all, the consumer nature of the world encourages a lot of fast fashion, which is when basically you buy clothes just because they're for the trend and like don't use them after. And I feel like that works, like completely works against, okay, first of all, it adds so much like pollution, climate change, global warming. And it's not global warming, it's just climate change because the environment gets warmer and colder, hotter and colder, I guess. So I just want to clarify that. But it adds so much like pollution, this and that, and so much fabric and money gets wasted. And I think that's really stupid. So first of all, we got to stop fast fashion, y'all. And the consumer nature of the world definitely propels that forwards. And the same way that fast fashion sort of, well, essentially like encourages waste and like, you know, adds to our landfills and all these things, the consumer nature itself adds so much, because as much as they're like eco-friendly brands or like sustainability things, there's the same amount, if not more, as like actual like companies full of pollution and like this and that. Also, the consumer nature of the world has also like turned turned people into the fashion industry into like absolute, okay, not all, keep in mind this only applies for some cases, but it has turned a lot of workers into practically like slaving around the clock, like toiling around the clock, like the Sheen drama, where it's like really cheap, but the thing is they underpay workers so much and expect them to like get 300 to 400 like shirts or like pieces of clothing a day done. I really don't encourage that. So I feel like the consumer nature, if we're consuming in like an actual good way, like buying eco-friendly products, producing our own things, that's fine. But if we're just going to continue buying and buying and wasting, that's terrible. And honestly, that's kind of what we're doing right now. So at the moment, the consumer nature that we have interpreted is honestly terrible. But anyways, next question. And also, the reason why I'm not going into tons of detail for a lot of these questions is because all of these are potential podcast starters. So I could definitely use these in like another episode, in a future episode, and I most likely will. So that's why I'm trying to give you just like a little bit, like a summary of what I think. But anyways, next question. What's your opinion on a possible war between China and the US and its allies? Do you support Taiwan being independent from China? Do you believe a possible war between China and the US could lead to World War III and the possible next dark age for humanity? Okay, let's tackle all these questions separately because it's one giant question broken into 3 parts. What's your opinion on a possible war between China and the US and its allies? My personal opinion is, as you guys know, war is a no-no for me, but you know, sometimes we need it for like change and this and that. And okay, so I know that the US and China aren't on the best terms at the moment, and we can't call them like friends or allies because that's basically the opposite. Like, they're not full-blown enemies, but they're on the spectrum. But first of all I remember is that a pretty long time ago, China said that it would stop accepting the US's like waste that goes into landfills because we were polluting too much of China, or they just didn't want to accept it. Like I said, I wasn't able to get a lot of research done, and this is just what I know as a 13-year-old who's exposed to all different types of American media and like this and that, and isn't overly gullible but also believes a lot of things. So first of all, I know that definitely that could like be a factor in like why they're not on good terms. And as much as I'd like to say, no, it's not possible at all, it definitely is more than possible. And I'm just hoping that the probability of it happening is extremely low and that everything's going to be fine. But honestly, I don't think it will be. So, you know, hoping for the best. But hoping that above all, even if the war happens, all my family is like, everyone's safe. And also my podcast is safe and I can keep filming. So, you know, hoping for the best, you guys. But anyways, next question. Wait, no, I have to answer the other parts of this question. Do you support Taiwan being independent from China? Okay. First of all, I do support a lot of like minor countries being independent from more major countries because China has never considered Taiwan a part of it, but it still controls Taiwan and won't let it be independent. So it's just like, you're not, it's sort of like the worst case scenario of adopting a kid. It's like, I adopted you. You're not my kid, but I still control you and I don't like you. It's like someone adopting a kid and like saying you're adopted 24/7 and not viewing them as their own kid, yet still being super like over controlling and protective of it. So from what I know, that is the situation of China and Taiwan. And in that case, I would greatly, like to a very big extent, support Taiwan being independent from China. Because like, yay, independence. The US became independent from Britain. And, you know, Revolutionary War, this and that, what we learned in history. So I think that's great for our development. And honestly, if Taiwan being independent will slow down its development, then I would root against that. But if it'll help just like it did for the US, then I would definitely heavily support that. So now let's answer the final part of this question. Do you believe that a possible war between China and the US could lead to World War III and the possible next dark age for humanity? Honestly, I believe this, but not to a completely like the largest extent possible to a fairly medium extent. Like, I don't want it to, but it's kind of reality, but it's not extremely like, oh, so super likely, but it's just on the spectrum. So as I said, hoping for the best and trying to get my head into politics and like wrap my head around all these different politics and media that, we see and are exposed to every day. All right, next question. Man, some of these questions are depressing because they're reality, but I don't want to face reality. So I don't want to do my transitions all happy and like glad and joyful when it's so depressing. But anyways, should Congress start creating a budget for different federal social programs, or should they continue with the current stream of funding? All right, so this question is a bit harder for me to answer as well, just like all of the other questions, because I don't exactly know how Congress does its stream of funding and like its budget for federal and social programs. So honestly, I think I'm just gonna take a look at the question once again to really wrap my head around it. So to repeat for you guys, if y'all are slow like me, should Congress start creating a budget for different federal social programs, or should they continue with the current stream of funding? I think we should like separate like budgets for different programs, because here's what I've been told by one of my very wise teachers who watches this podcast about how politics work. Each politician says that they'll cut funding for something that they say or believe or convince us is useless, but they don't cut funding. They just cut like the exponential or like linear, I guess, increase of funding. So if like if my podcast gets funded like $500 per year, I won't like completely get zero funding. I'll just get less money per year, or I'll only get like $500 for 1 year and no money for the rest. And for reference, this is completely untrue because I don't get paid for my podcast. This is just an imaginary scenario. Don't take it the wrong way. And if you have questions for me about how my podcast works, I'm literally doing a Q&A right now, so please let me know. And I'll do more when I have more questions. And I've also been like looking forward to like doing a Q&A. Like, I'll keep the questions on my phone, so I'll like answer them now, and then like maybe 1 year later I'll be like, 1 year ago Siri versus now Siri, how does she answer these questions? But anyways, next question. So this is actually our final question for this Q&A. Yeah, it's been a long journey and the episode's definitely really long, so I'm sorry to annoy you guys, but it definitely helps me. What are your thoughts on ChatGPT in general? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, ChatGPT is sort of like a software website program thing where you can like sort of, I'm pretty sure you can type in a prompt and it'll give you like a good like lengthy paragraph or essay to write with. First of all, this can be really, oh my god, I don't want to get into it. Like literally just earlier I told you guys about how like my theory of like human morality, I guess, where like even if a boundary is gone, we'll still like stick by it because we're so used to it and have morals that match the boundary existence, or the boundary's existence and the fact that the boundary is existing in the first place. But I feel like, first of all, we could use ChatGPT to cheat in so many ways. But I don't know if you enter the same prompt twice, like the exact same prompt, just at two different times, like one like today and then once the next day, will it give you the exact same like paragraph or essay, or will it change it? So first of all, so much room for cheating, but also us humans do have morals. So it's like, yo, what is this logic? It's turning into a big mess, which is honestly me on my podcast sometimes, but it definitely has a lot of room for cheating. But at the same and also another like con of it is that a while ago Twitter, and by a while I mean like years back, I don't remember the exact date because it's hard to remember all these dates when you're also remembering all these things for your podcast, you guys. But anyways, quite a few years ago, Twitter released, I'm pretty sure it was Twitter. Yeah, it released like this AI bot that you could like DM and like, and also for the old people, DM is directly message, like private message. You could like text it like things to say or like converse with it, and it would like talk to you, and then it would like slowly learn from that. So it was like artificial intelligence learning from humans, I guess, and like mimicking us sort of. So if ChatGPT is anything like that, then it's going to end up terrible, because what humans did to the bot on Twitter is that we said so many like racial slurs and like cuss words and bad words that it learned those, and like pretty soon, I think like less than 24 to 48 hours, it was like saying a bunch of racial slurs and like racial things, or like racist remarks like this race is terrible, or like calling a bunch of races like their racial slurs. It was crazy, and that did not end up well. So all I'm gonna say is ChatGPT is a work in progress, and we'll see how it goes. But in the meanwhile, my podcast is still going, and I'm seeing how it goes, and it's been a really long time. So first of all, thank you guys for being so patient and watching my episodes. Like, I think I deserve a little like applaud for like filming for an hour straight. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Please like let me know your thoughts on these questions and like your actual like full answers to them. I would love to hear like what you guys have to say about what I think or about like in general your responses to these questions. And thank you to everyone who submitted a question, and for those of you who couldn't, that's completely fine. I understand. Your guys's views of my podcast are more than enough for me. Or like the support that you guys give me is like so much, like so oh my god, so well appreciated. I'm so grateful for it, and I'm really happy to be back. So all right, goodbye everyone. Thank you so much for watching my podcast. As always, this is Siri's podcast.